Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl JoJo, and I hope y'all are doing good today. I don't know why I took that long pause before I started. But anyway, I'm coming to you with a quick little video just to give you guys a follow up on another video that I did, and that is the fact that Miss Arian is back again, and she got the exclusive with Tasha K. Tasha K had a phone conversation with her. They did a podcast right after the phone conversation. Her, Storm Monroe, and Funky Dineva basically giving their thoughts and opinions on the triangle that is Martell, Melody, and Arian. And so we'll talk a little bit about it right now, and I want to get y'all's thoughts and opinions. But after this, y'all, I'm going to have to pull completely out the paint because y'all know I believe in the law of attraction, right? I believe strongly in the law of attraction, and I'm starting to get like a whole bad feeling for me even talking about this. And I'm not married, but I don't want none of this, coming back my way. So I think I'm going to just wait till the show comes back on, and then that's when we'll discuss all the characters on the show. The show, I don't feel too bad about doing it because, it's all drummed up and produced and all of that. But when we start getting into real stuff that happens off camera, it's not my lane. But it is Tasha K's lane because this is what Tasha K does. So she got the exclusive. She put it on out there, and we'll just get into some of the things that we learned from this conversation. So the conversation wasn't that long, about 10 to 12 minutes. Arian basically tells us that she was in a relationship with Martell for 5 years. She was never pregnant for Martell. That is a rumor. That's a lie. She actually knew that she did not want to get pregnant with him because not only did she already have a 7-year-old daughter, which I didn't know that, but also because he was a married man and she wasn't trying to be pregnant by a married man. Now, when they started dating, he was not famous. He was not popular like that. Even in Huntsville, he was known, but it still wasn't like a big blow up deal. He wasn't at, I guess, millionaire status at that time, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. But he just wasn't a big name like he is now at this point, at this current point. And so as they continued to date and as they pitched the show and as people started knowing who he was and as people started really knowing who she was, because she said that they were going out on dates, they were out in public, they would be in Atlanta together, they would be in Huntsville together. It was nothing. Like, it was no big deal. People knew about her. They pitched the show, and at the time that the show was pitched, Martell and Melody were separated. This is what, I don't know. I feel like people kind of gloss over this fact because a lot of people are like, oh, Melody there's no way she could leave because she's got all these kids and she knows that she can't move forward, and she knows. Well, it sounds like she was ready to move forward at some point in time. It sounds like they were separated at some point in time. Now, we don't know whose doing that was, whether it was Martell's or whether it was Melody's, but I feel like it probably was hers because Martell seemed fairly comfortable in what he had going on. So he didn't see a need to rock the boat. But they were separated at the time, and when they pitched the show, the producers were telling them, well, this ain't gonna work with y'all being separated, so you all just pretty much need to get back together and fake it. And so that's what they did. So the rumors that we've been hearing, and then this has been going on for a while, that they were just faking their relationship and that they weren't really together. I guess we now have Arian to kind of confirm that a little bit, that may indeed be true. They were not actually together, okay, at the time of the show coming about. So, hold on, let me pull my notes back up. My phone's going wild. So while they were dating and while he was becoming more known and when he got onto the show, he let her know that he wasn't going to put her on the show, but they did make that a storyline. Him and Mel did make it a storyline, but he was never going to give Arian a platform or a position to say anything that she wanted to say, because he basically presented to her like, I have the control, I have the power, I'm the star, I'm the one on TV, you're not. So basically, I can say it however I want to say it, and you, good luck. And I think that is why Arian is talking as much as she is, because it was kind of presented to her like, you have no power here, you have no control here. I can talk about you, but you're not going to talk about me. And I can see how that would ruffle a whole lot of feathers and get somebody worked up. However, Arian has to know that, it's not gonna look good either way. It's not gonna look good on any of them. But child, we're not inserting opinions right now. I'm just telling y'all what happened. So let me move forward. She had sent Mel several things. Prior to that whole Instagram message that she sent last time, she had been sending Mel stuff. She already knew, like, her and Martell never stopped. There was never a situation where it was cut off for her. She did cut the situation off with Martell at some point in time. I think she said around April, but then they were dealing with each other again around December, because he was calling and texting her and calling her, and just in December she says that they were together. So Funky Dineva said right after the phone call that he was not buying anything that any of them were selling, and I think I'm gonna have to go with Funky Dineva on this one. And it's disappointing because it's a marriage. Like, I don't want to see people play around with their marriage, but it happens all the time. But again, let me stay on. I'm sorry. So at one point, Mel had moved out and lived in an apartment, and I'm guessing this is before the show. And then during the show, she had moved back in. There were allegedly may have been some other women, because she said that she went through Martell's phone one time, found a message from a girl in Nashville. It was a girl that he had a one-night stand with. But my thing is, if y'all had a one-night stand, why are y'all still talking to each other? One-night stand is a one-night stand, right? So I don't know if I believe that. And it doesn't surprise me that Martell had other women, because Passport Cuddy, I don't know if y'all follow Passport Cuddy, but she is on Twitter. She used to always say that the wife need to be thankful for the side chick, because the side chick keep the other hoes away. I'm trying to keep these hoes away from our man. So it doesn't surprise me that Mel may have had more than one horse in the stable, or more than two horses. Let's see what else. One of the biggest bombs that she dropped was the fact that Martell did buy her a BMW, but he did not buy her Benz. She bought her Benz, but he did buy her BMW. And whenever her car was messed up and she needed a car to drive, Marceau would give Martell the money to get the car fixed. No. How did it go? Marceau would give her the money. Okay, Marceau would give Arian the money to get the car fixed, and Martell would pay Marceau back. That was one of the biggest bombs dropped of the interview. So now we know that Marceau and Martell had some type of involvement with each other when it came to this girl. So Marceau definitely knew about the girl, and maybe they both knew what each other may have been doing, and that's why Marceau has been so very, very tight-lipped, because they might have been out here, not really doing the right thing together. Although she never says that they went on a double date with any other girl. She doesn't bring up any woman that Marceau may have been with. That's all she brings up to us. So far, that's all we know, is that Marceau was at least involved in Martell's affairs, or of that nature. We also learned that she used to work the door at the clubs, and Marceau would come in and Maurice would come in. So Maurice knew too. And, everybody knew. It seemed that everybody knew about Arian, and it was really no secret, okay? It's messed up. It's just messed up all around. But I think that was the biggest bomb drop that had happened. She hasn't really talked to Marceau at all since. They're not really friends, but he knew, and they talked a little bit. They were cordial with each other. Mel never tried to fight her. Did come to her house one time with her hairstylist, and another time I guess she came by herself because she wanted to talk. But yeah, that was really it in a nutshell of what she said in her phone conversation. And then the rest of the podcast was about 45 to 50 minutes of them just talking about everything that had transpired on the phone call and what they thought about it. And Tasha K really didn't have much to add because she doesn't watch the show. So I was just like, How you even get the exclusive? You don't even watch the show. But you know, Tasha K is very popular. She's very good at what she does, so I'm pretty sure she got it because either she went after it or somebody came after her. Funky Dineva, who was the one who originally released the information, I was glad that he was a part of the podcast. It seemed like it was only right because he was one of the first people to release it. Funky Dineva made a lot of good points. Storm Monroe made also a lot of good points. They both watched the show. One of the things that I agreed with Funky Dineva on immediately is that no, I'm not buying what anybody's selling, because now at this point you don't really know who or what to believe. Everybody is like, is it all just stunts and shows at this point? And if it is, that's kind of disappointing because, like I said, you don't want to see people play around with their marriages. I started to get an eerie feeling with Martell and Mel anyway in the last couple of weeks when they did this whole I got stuff to get off my chest, and actually it was their baby announcement, the announcement of the birth of their child, but they made it seem like they were about to get some drama drummed up, and that's not actually what it was. And then the way that they were praising and giving glory to God for a verified check, you know, for a blue check on Twitter or Instagram or whatever it was, I was just like, I don't know. I mean, I would be thankful for all things, don't get me wrong, but the way that they were glorifying it, it was just like, this is what we did this for, and now we finally getting that clout that we deserve. Was anybody else getting that feeling, or was it just me? I just didn't. Go read the comments of what they said about that verified check, and maybe you'll understand what I mean by that. Where was I going next? But then the part that aggravated me about the podcast was that I don't feel like everybody was getting the credit that they deserve for being involved in this triangle in the first place. Especially Martell, because he's the headliner. You know, he is the headliner in this whole thing, the married man who pursued a woman, and then, you know, she's next, and then there's Melanie, whatever you feel like she deserves credit you feel like she might deserve in this. But I think the credit that she deserves is continuing to perpetuate it. But it seemed like all of the talk was about Mel and what Mel has done and how Mel has behaved and how Mel has gotten this situation to keep going and how Mel is coming after this girl. And I was just like, hold up now. Everybody deserves a little bit of credit for being stupid. Like Charlamagne says, give everybody the credit that they deserve. And for it to be all on Mel was just not okay with me. I felt like they needed to discuss the fact that Martell was this married man who actively pursued. They needed to discuss the fact that Arian, I mean, the way she was speaking, I just felt like she really didn't care. Like, it was just kind of like, oh, well, you know, he was dealing with me. He was always dealing with me. He was always with me. He was always, and I'm just like, girl, do you believe you have a prize? You know, he was giving me money. He was paying my rent. And, okay, all right, you got the bag. Now, you living in an apartment. Now, what I wish she would have done was when he was paying her rent, putting her money to the side. That way, when it was all said and done, she would have her a nice little chunk of change to do, you know, maybe to go even buy her something. But I don't know. Like, I just, I don't know. I really do not know. At this point, I don't believe that. I do believe that Mel and Martell are just together for business. It is strictly a business front for them. I don't feel like there's a whole lot of love involved. I'm sorry. I think they have love for each other, you know, as co-parents and things of that nature. Like, there's a feeling there. But what they're trying to show us on social media, I'm just not going to be able to buy it, you know, at this point, because it's just been too much. And then as far as Arian, Tasha K talked about how when she was 21, she did used to accept gifts from men and get things from men when she was living in Atlanta by herself. And I almost felt like they were excusing Arian because she was 23 at the time that she met Martell. And I love Storm Monroe for saying, well, you know, you still have to be accountable for your actions, and you do. And I agree with that. But Tasha was kind of like, explaining her situation as a way to say, well, you're young and you're impressionable, and when you're never taught that marriage is important, then you kind of do certain things. And look, I get all of that. I know that this is a multi-layered subject, but where does the age of accountability come in? Because I worked 3 jobs in college, and it's not that offers weren't put out there, and I'm not judging anybody who took them, because you got to do what you think is best for you. But I worked at Victoria's Secret, Express, and I worked on campus, and I worked my butt off to say that nobody else could have access to this, you know, in order for, how can I word it? I wasn't giving anybody access to this to fund anything for me. And maybe that's not, the greatest. Some people might see that as being stupid, but that's just the way that I chose to roll, because not only did I not want anybody hanging anything over my head, but I definitely didn't want a situation with a married man hanging over my head. I just did not want that, and I knew that from a young age. So I just don't know, like, where does the age of accountability come in? Okay, so I feel like there was even an article about this years ago that I read, where it was talking about this whole failure to launch syndrome that a lot of people had, and they were in their early 30s and just kind of sitting at home working like part-time jobs. They're not really saving any money, not saving for a home. They just kind of living there. And I honestly believe it is because we keep moving the goalpost of accountability when it comes to young people. So you're 23, okay, your brain ain't fully formed. You can't make all these decisions right now, and you're really impressionable. You have a young mind. Then you turn 25. Oh, you're still young, you're still growing. I can understand how you would fall for this and fall for that. She did this, she did that, but she's still young. You young people make these mistakes. Then they turn 27. Oh, she's still trying to get in the groove. She just got her first real job, everything, and then you turn 30 and everybody looking at you like you crazy. Oh, you should have known better. I can't believe you. You should have. And the whole time everybody's been telling them how young they are and making excuses for their decisions. But now when they get grown, you want to know why they can't take accountability for anything. Like, we got to make it make sense. And so I appreciated Storm Monroe for basically saying she still knew what she was doing. But yeah, y'all, I mean, that was really it. Y'all can go and watch it if you can sit through the rest of the podcast. I did not like the excuse making that was kind of going on with regards to Arian. Martell really is the mofo in all of this, because he got the party started. Arian knew what she was doing. She knew what she had gotten into. And she says she knew what she had gotten into. But one thing I do agree with that Tasha K said is that if you gonna get into it, you gotta know that you cannot catch feelings. In 5 years, it's a relationship, and everybody done caught all kind of feelings. And at the bottom line, that's what has really, really fractured that marriage and really all of these relationships in general. So I hope Arian moves on. I hope she can recover from this, because she the one that's probably gonna get drugged the worst, honestly. Mel's gonna bounce back because she has a lot of respect from the community, honestly, and there's a lot of people behind her. There's gonna be people who think she's foolish and she's stupid, but she is the wife, and she was the one that got cheated on. So people are gonna have her back. So y'all just, I don't know. I don't even know what else to say. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.